Experience information and entertainment like never before as TVC Breakfast takes your weekends to a whole new level. Introducing TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, your ultimate source of thrilling sports updates, insightful political analysis, and captivating entertainment news. Stay in the know with what's trending, catch up with the latest in sports, and immerse yourself in the latest buzz from the world of music and movies. Your weekends are no longer just days off, but moments packed with knowledge, excitement, and enjoyment. TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, only on TVC News.
Hello and thank you for joining the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakum. Today on the program, Inspector General of Police deploys Special Intervention Squad to tackle banditry, kidnapping in FCT as federal government warns citizens that crowdfunding to raise money for ransom payment will worsen kidnapping. I'll be hanging out with Babatunde Kolade Otitoju, Tunde Abaton, and Tony Waje. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin with the issue of abuse and overzealousness, which may just be divided by a thing. Now, the police in Abia State, southeast Nigeria, stormed a television station called ABN TV and arrested a guest, Udensi Donald, during a live program in Omahia. The police claim an elder brother of the guests, Uche Udensi, had written a petition against him over a family matter. The director of the radio and TV station, Ifeanyi Okali, said the management of is worried by the invasion of the broadcast station by the police operatives. This is absurd. I saw it was like a live program, and the police just barged in. I saw the listing, and they asked the policeman to show his ID card, and he pumped the ID card. But any kind of respect that the man was attending to a live program, and he can't be whisking with it to do the live program.
It is more intriguing fact that foreign, the issue over which
domestic
issue, purely family issue over which it took that as well was in a brother. Over a family issue. And the man is before national television, before a television station. Even I want to believe that our security agencies will not have done that. The DSS and all others will not have done that. What is of importance to the state which they are discussing? Purely a family or domestic issue. It is not about the state. Even if it is about the Nigerian state, you can still exercise restraint. You can still exercise caution. Everybody has a liberty. And the man has not said anything that will threaten the peace and stability of that particular state. So even if he had done so, they would have given him the opportunity. It is even allow him to hear his views that will provide the security agencies enough facts, enough reasons to apprehend him. But a purely personal, domestic, and family matter, you invaded the privacy of a television station and yanked off the guest. I think the police needed to be told the truth. And I think the Inspector General of Police, he has to do something about the overzealousness of his officers.
Tony, sometimes this will just amount to maybe it as a result of the highest bidder. If the complainant just go and you know how to settle your way very well, the police will do everything
that's why
outside the books to make sure that they apprehend the person. The force of the money of that person, or the force of the power of the money of that person.
Force of the
just go overboard.
Force of the money.
Yes,
I think
and you see it.
Yeah,
it
you
will
see
so
it in
apparent.
action, yes. Because there are no punitive measures to this. Things like this happen, and here the next thing you hear that the police officer in question or the team has been transferred to another station. So when they are transferred to another station, they continue that act. For me, there are no punitive measures, and that's where it ends. Today, I saw the Commissioner of Police paying a visit to the broadcast station. I think it goes beyond that. It goes beyond just going to, sorry, my officers. No. Those officers need to be apprehended, prosecuted. There are reasons. Something actually triggered it. We can't be running the country like this.
So,
this is not military regime.
If somebody wants to arrest me now,
I'm telling you, can you
need to just come into this live program
it doesn't make sense.
and invade the studio
It has to
and
stop.
say you want to arrest.
It has to stop. Then the police commissioner will come here the next day and say, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It can't continue. Because if you use that approach, another one will happen tomorrow. We need to identify these officers involved. There must be an investigation. What happened? And why do you have to invade the TV? So there must be an investigation. And those officers need to be prosecuted. It goes beyond the commissioner of police or the IG calling. No, we can't continue to run the affairs of this country this way.
In fairness to the police management, lately, once they see complaints like this, they identify the individuals involved and they round them off, and we see them parading them. And most of the time, they will send out of the force.
Look, it is better to prevent the act from taking place in the first instance. If the police are properly indoctrinated about the do's and don'ts of the freedom of the media, of the freedom of the individual, I think they shouldn't have done that in the first place. Because you see, like I said, there will always be a repeat performance. So then what lessons have been learned? So it means the police hierarchy needs to sit down and reorientate their men and officers about public conduct. Conduct that will not go beyond their brief in office. This is embarrassing that somebody is before a television station because of even whatever reason, even for the state, even if it's against the state, let him finish and you can be waiting for him outside and you pick him up. But for a purely domestic family matter, because his senior brother complained against him. And like he said, maybe something has changed hand. It is unfortunate.
Yes, it makes it more ridiculous when you see that. The problem is not with the states. The problem is not with the government. So the problem is my other brother.
Yes.
That can wait now.
The police, there's a police station involved here. Apart from the commission, the state police
DPO.
command. Yes, there's a police department, divisional police
officer
department involved in this case. That is where the state command should. I want to believe that apart from the commissioner of police visiting the station, to appeal to them and all that, it should go beyond that. The DPO, because an officer within a divisional a unit cannot just go and yes, somebody actually authorized that arrest, and you got into a police station, a TV broadcast station. There was a live program going on. You were told, you still insisted on arresting that person and even caused damage to the station. That is reckless. And for me, I see it as an attack on the press. And it shouldn't just go like that. Because, as I said earlier, if we continue to do it this way, it will continue. If we don't do anything to tackle it and address it squarely. This, even under the military regime, I can't, maybe for a few occasions this happened, but this is not a military regime. This is democracy. This is supposed to be democracy. And there are processes to these things. The highest they ought to have done is to wait after the program. They can arrest. But barging in and all that is a no-no. It's a no-no. And anybody who is in support of this is not wishing the country well.
Sometimes the conduct of the police, a lot of people will blame it on the training ab initio. That's, when they were entering the force, the process of indoctrinating these guys, it falls short of standard.
Well, I think you have to know one thing, that is the police themselves, most of the policemen, they are not properly enlightened and educated about what their roles are. If they are properly educated about what they are supposed to do, an IG doesn't have to issue a press statement asking the police not to search the telephone of
they should know this without the IG.
They have to issue a press statement. Don't search telephone, don't search. When you see a young man driving, the young man is assumed to be a 419 guy. It's so wrong, harassing people all over the place.
Or if the guy is on dread.
So
automatically he's a Yahoo boy.
Harassing. So I think the problem is the caliber and the character, the kind of people we recruit into the Nigerian police system. And the Nigerian police seems to have no code of conduct. There's something they call code of conduct for officers. If you follow your code of conduct, you not embarrass the members of the public. You are being sustained by the taxpayers, and you are not supposed to harass taxpayers. The police like they say, is supposed to be your friend, not an object of harassment of the citizen. It is unfortunate.
That's why I have to look into the recruitment process. It's very important.
Recruitment is very
because I've seen a lot of who just
Start from that police.
I don't take for 4 years. I don't get a job. Let me just go into the police force. And it's also good for different, different reasons. And then at the end of the day, no orientation, because I think education is key here. Yes. Not that you have to, do 4 years.
So these officers,
orientation matters.
They must be identified, and
they need to. They need to be identified. They need to be identified. It goes beyond jokes.
Going to a radio station.
It goes beyond jokes because we are in this. We're in a live program.
It could happen to anybody.
Yeah, it could happen.
It could happen to anybody.
If we just let it, slide.
And it's so ridiculous that even a purely family
that has nothing to do.
That has nothing to do with the state. You can understand that security men can be overzealous when they are dealing with the state, but this thing is not about the state. It's about a purely domestic family matter that could be settled. After all, people go to court, and the judge will advise members of the family, either a couple, to come and go and settle out of the court. But this is purely a private matter.
Business.
All right, moving on now. For them, battled former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, the battle ahead may get tougher. The federal government has again amended the charges against Emefiele. The new charges include forgery, conferring of corrupt advantage, and criminal breach of trusts. The government had initially filed 19 charges against the former CBN governor, bordering on procurement fraud, but later pruned it down to 6. In the amended charge, Emefiele is accused of obtaining the sum of $6.2 million by pretense, by falsely representing the secretary to the federal government of the Federation, now contrary to Section 1, Subsection 1 of the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Related Offence Act 2006. Gentlemen, this is getting interesting. But since this journey started, I've been having, yes, he wasn't charged initially. The first charge was gun running, illegal. So as at that time, not knowing that the secret police, they were just gathering this thing, and investigation was on. From the investigations and everything that we've seen so far, Mr. Emefiele might have, found himself in a very long thing, as in a long time will come before he can exonerate himself from this big mess he has found himself in.
Well, I think we have to know one thing. Number one, the man spent 9 years as governor of CBN governors in Nigeria. So the longer time you spend, the more shit you have to cover up. Number two is the fact that most public officers in Nigeria are guilty of being arbitrary in what they are doing. They regard themselves as law. And from the lot of complaints about the banking system in Nigeria, I think we should not be surprised that a Pandora box, what I regard to as a Pandora box, because when something is smelling in your kitchen, when you enter your house, for you to know the object of the smell, you have to turn the kitchen inside out. If the egg is somewhere inside the box, you have to remove a lot of things. In your attempt to locate the source of the foul smell in your kitchen, you are likely to see many other things that has gone wrong. And this is what is happening with the Central Bank of Nigeria. For as long as they keep on examining other departments, there are a lot of hidden things that are in the CBN for somebody who spent 9 years, who at the end of his 9 years reign, he succeeded in inflicting untold pain on the people of Nigeria. That is enough to attract attention. I think we have just started. We have not seen anything yet. We are still going to see more. The more the new herdsmen, or the more the new government wants to introduce new reforms in the CBN, the more of the things that are going to come out to the public.
Tony, I'm not happy with the system. It's the system that will give the Central Bank of Nigeria, the governor, unlimited powers, that we have access into all this. Because if you read the Obaze investigation reports, what is coming out is oozing. As in the amount that the CBN governor will have access, the responsibilities, the power and everything, and to the extent that some banks were actually sold, and the money that they were sold for was not remitted into the coffer, and so a whole lot of mess.
It shows that we need to look at the system again. The moment Emefiele, the former CBN governor, declared interest in politics.
Yeah.
I know something was wrong.
He was so rich and so audacious,
and it was
to the extent to say,
so audacious.
Look, I want to contest for the president, because look at him and his Bible. Look at and the Bible.
Maybe he has not been to
God is a very patient person, though.
It was mean,
clutching to a big Bible.
And no matter what Nigerians were saying at that point, it wasn't making sense to him. He was focused on that presidential, and then the Naira.
He went to court. He went to court.
A public officer.
He went to court to stop the INEC and other parties from stopping him to,
There's nothing Emefiele didn't do. It was odd, strange. We've never seen that in the history of this country. That an incumbent CBN governor was vying for office of the president.
Have you ever seen the permanent secretary?
I've never seen it. So we're seated at the helm of affairs of CBN, still running bought vehicles. Just like yesterday here, bought vehicles, splashed it over the media, and we're just watching. But then, I will not exonerate the former president from that.
Yes.
Because he was a supervisor. Was a president of the country at that point. Nigerians were crying, like, what is going on? We've never seen this happen. It happened under Emefiele.
I think we haven't seen it yet.
It's happened under Emefiele when he has the guts to go for, to challenge, to go into the presidential foray. I know there are other things he may have done. I'm not surprised at this. Just as you said, more roads are going to be unnetted as the investigation continues. I know he did a lot. He did a lot against the economy of this country as CBN governor. And the most annoying part was that Nigerians were even, were crying. If you had that Naira policy, and even when the Supreme Court ruled, the guy was adamant.
This
is what I want. I've never seen that happen.
As if this president is bigger than.
I'm telling you, I've never seen that happen. So I'm not too surprised at this. I'm not at all.
We haven't seen nothing
I'm not too surprised at this. And I believe more is going to come out. And I pray that justice is served in this case. Because if he fails to do that, another CBN governor might come and say, this one did it, and nothing happened. So there must be a full stop to this. It may never happen to Nigeria again. And that Naira policy was still feeling the pains today. Just go, some banks are still pegging.
Till tomorrow.
Till tomorrow you can't withdraw a certain amount of money. That's a year after. I was still feeling the pains of that policy.
I was in the bank yesterday. I was told that
that is
I can't withdraw if my ATM is not from that bank. I can't withdraw beyond 5,000 naira. That I have to do it 5 times.
That's exactly. Some 20.
I can even tell you that since the initiation of his budget policy, I've not entered any banking hall. So for my sanity and everything.
It's true. POS. Yes, now it's better now.
I know POS guys are making money.
I don't
he has made them rich.
Yes, but another problem is that we also have problem with POS.
That's what I'm saying.
Clever guys. Well,
because they mop up the cash in the system. So even if you go to some ATM machines, you cannot withdraw any amount. Some of them are empty. So you definitely go through the.
Looking at it now, the way we are unraveling these cases and they are amending his case and the case before him, somebody who even told me yesterday that Emefiele might be competing favorably with General Sani Abacha. The amount of level of malfeasance, experience.
I think we have to give something to Abacha. He loves Nigeria so much that 25 years after his death, the money saved for Nigeria is still being repatriated. He so much loved us. But what I believe is that whatever comes around, goes around. There's nothing anybody can do that you will hide what you have done. You can only hide. You cannot run permanently. Like Yoruba will say, you can only do something and keep it. One day, somebody will come up and reopen everything. Like I said the other time, we aren't seeing nothing yet with regard to what Emefiele did to Nigeria and the financial system.
I agree.
And we don't learn from the past, and we're not thinking of amending and adjusting our systems. another CBN governor will be there, can do something that is more than this.
That's why we need
Yes,
to
now,
look
so
at
far
it.
there's no punitive
Yeah,
measure.
that's why we need to look at this. This is supposed to, give us the opportunity of start thinking in that direction. That it's time.
The National Assembly.
We need to look at the books again.
Acts.
Yes. Anything that
Awesome power.
make the CBN governor so powerful.
So powerful.
Powerful. At times, more than the president. Because what Emefiele did, it's unthinkable.
No
Highly
central
unthinkable.
bank governor has ever done that.
We need to look at it again. What is that thing? What are those things that give him that power? That is what I think we should be talking about now. The National Assembly, most importantly.
They call it CBN Act.
Yeah.
You see,
Look at that CBN
That
Act again. That empowers that governor to do. He did a lot. He did a lot in Nigeria. He was empowering individuals.
And
You need to know him.
Field
and you're a
program, and
billionaire.
program. In
I've
trillions.
I've never heard it.
well, I think there's something we have to look at before we begin to blame him with all the awesome power.
I will not
We have
blame
to
him.
look at
This
the fact
system, just as
that-
I
the
said,
fact that it was not being properly
supervised. Gosh, I said it before.
It was
It's
not being properly
autonomous. It's
supervised.
autonomous. If you remember, the Minister of Finance came out to say she was not aware of what
Naira
CBN.
dis-
Yes.
policy.
The Naira-
But
the
we know
policy.
see power.
Yeah, this
Power corrupts.
Yes.
Ayo,
Yes.
Ayo.
So-
Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts
Absolutely.
absolutely. That kind of power that has been given to that man is difficult not to be abused.
Sorry, Mr. Bato, just like Mr. Bato said, he was there for 9 solid years.
9 solid
Do you know
years.
what 9 solid years means? He
He
started
passed through
seeing himself as
three presidents.
untouchable, and
Okay.
he displayed it.
From Jonathan.
Two presidents.
Two presidents.
Jonathan and
the Taylor Jonathan.
8 years
of
under Buhari,
Buhari.
1 year under Jonathan. It's enough for him to, for him to go mad. So this,
So
we've
he
not
became,
seen anything
he
yet.
became enamored with the kind of
You've not-
power that he has.
He's not seen anything.
can do
There's
anything.
one
And
soundbite.
and he was going
Anyway,
unchallenged.
he has made a record.
There was a time
in
he just
Nigeria.
told, if you want to fight me, we can
He
come.
challenged.
Yeah,
There is
he
nothing he
challenged.
didn't
And
do.
because it was not being properly supervised.
There's nothing he didn't
Is
do.
this supervision of the system?
Well,
I
don't think.
I think it's
that
more
is
of the
what
system,
he's
though.
trying. Well, no central bank governor has ever done what he has done, and he has created a record. This is the first central bank governor in Nigeria that will spend 6 months in detention. None of the central bank governor has even been queried. If they had, you can remind me, since
He
1960.
deserved it.
He deserved it.
Yeah, because
He deserved it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, he deserved
Nigeria
it.
went through pain.
One above board.
Through pain, and we're still going through the pain.
A
1
lot,
year
of,
after.
a lot of women who died in the labor room because they wanted to deliver, and the husband cannot source money from the bank, and the doctors will refuse to treat you. You can't just imagine.
Still going through the pain.
So, like people used to say, well, the leaf that is dancing on the surface of the water, the drummer is beneath the water. Somebody must have been giving him confidence that whatever he does as CBN governor is going to get away with it. But I want to believe that
So some people
the
will
FCC
say-
do their case
Some people
well.
will say, some people will say, President Buhari gave him the power, that the buck stops on the table of president.
well,
You're right. Of course,
right,
those people are not wrong.
but he didn't
Just as you
supervise
said,
him.
the supervision wasn't there. It wasn't there. Just take, for instance, the managing director of a company. You're supposed to have a board of directors. And then when the board is like a dassical, inefficient, not doing their job, what do you expect the MD to do? There's supposed to be checks and balances. When you veer off, the president was supposed to put him, especially with that Naira policy. I think that's where, at that point, Nigerians got to know that there was something wrong within the CBN and the coordination from the presidency.
He has to implement
There
it
are
at
certain
all
things.
costs
Yes, and then
before the election.
you know why I'm saying this? Nigerians were practically crying. People were buying money with their own money. You have money in the bank you cannot access. People were crying. I remember when they said they should return 1,000 notes to CBN headquarters. You need to see the crowd. And there, some days after, and I think the Supreme Court ruled, and then Emefiele was saying, no, this is what.
That is still waiting for the president.
And then the president was quiet about it.
He was quiet about
This is
it.
the first time I'm seeing a president listening to Nigerians. Something happens, people cry, and then you see
Next day,
he's taking action. Why don't we just sit? And like I've said it many times here, I've never seen anything like that since I was born. That people, you see ministers who are not doing anything for 8 years,
Yes,
8
they were
solid
not
years,
there
doing
for 8
nothing.
years.
At times we don't even know some of them, their names.
I can't even remember the names of 10.
So what do you expect the CBN?
And I could remember that.
People were crying that the economy was crashing. But it wasn't.
When I was
change the CBN governor, nothing.
I can mention the name of 15 ministers in the
God.
But now I don't think I can remember any. Because they were just warming.
They were not doing anything.
And they were doing things what they like, because the president was not supervising them. No matter what, the buck stops.
Of the president.
Executive President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
8 years.
All right, we'll take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this time out. You don't want to go away.
In today's world, our lifestyle, both at work and at play, depends on connectivity. Our connectivity depends on the devices that make it possible, and these devices depend on electric power. When power fails, our life shrinks, our work drops, and our joy dips. JRB Solar Energy Systems are here to ensure that we enjoy uninterruptible power, uninterruptible joy. Whether you're running a business, an institution, or just a home you return daily to rest, JRB has got you covered. No project is too big for our super digital inverters, long-lasting batteries, and efficient solar panels. Go. Dream on. Change your world. JRB solar inverters, batteries, solar panels, solar streetlights, and more. Telephone 0906 752 1111. Email sales@jrbsolar.com. With JRB, the sun's gonna shine on everything you do.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
School, I need students, but I need teacher.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices
Thank you for staying with us. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is set to wield the big stick in its effort to sanitize the foreign exchange markets. The CBN has announced that it's found grave infractions, gross abuse, and insignificant non-compliance with markets regulators by operators in the foreign exchange segments. The revelation followed a forensic review conducted by a reputable independent firm, which was commissioned by the Apex Bank. The central bank said it would apply appropriate sanctions against the violations, those in collaboration with relevant agencies. Tony, this, as of yesterday, it was 1,300 naira at the parallel market. 1,300 naira. Somebody, Chris Kende Wandu said that some Nigerians, they prefer to get their tickets in Ghana, Republic of Benin, to travel out than getting it here.
Because
when you look at the exchange rates.
It's killing. Well, let's be realistic, it's killing.
And this one is in circulation in this country.
It's killing. I would be happy, truly, if the CBN governor can actually do something. It's not, I mean, if you have kids abroad who are schooling, you know, that's when you feel you feel, or you're traveling. I mean,
or healthcare.
This, which is the most important.
Most important.
You know, I pray truly that it's not just rhetorics. Let's do it. We know the people who are involved in this. They're in Nigeria, and they're just a minute few. We know them now. They're not bigger than the system. They control what is happening, in the Forex market. Emefiele came in, applied some funny, tactics, banning Aboki and all that. Well, and nothing happened. So we have new people at the helm of affairs at CBN. If we can get these people We know, you know, one thing about Nigeria is that most times, I don't know, we find it hard to name names. You know, we find it very hard to name names because the people who are doing this are known to.
They're not ghosts.
They are not ghosts. They're not ghosts. They are people we know. We see them. Well, why is it that the system cannot deal with them severely? It's that political will that I'm praying that the present administration can, can wield. Get these people involved, arrest them. Prosecute. Once it's done, we don't have a problem. I mean, some people cannot be bigger than the system and be running the show over and over again, and we crowd.
There are lots of factors piling pressure on the Naira.
But first and foremost, there are speculators, and you cannot take away the speculators from this.
The system.
First of all, you have to deal with the speculators first. And who are the speculators? They're not ghosts. They decide what happened at the Forex foreign exchange market. They are powerful people. We know, but they cannot be powerful than the state. And on this state stands up and say, enough is... Let's start calling names. If we have the muscle to do that, what is sense of peace? It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science.
Majority of what we consume, we don't manufacture.
That's another one.
That's another factor. I think if the government can live up to its word by saying that Nigerians should eat or consume what they produce, that is very, very important. But like he said, we have to look at one thing. Some people, because of the bad system we have operated over the years, they have cornered the Nigerian economy. Cornered in the sense that they determine the value of the Naira. They determine a lot of things because of the illicit fund they have gotten from the system. If 80% or 70% of manufacturers in Nigeria today can access Forex at the official rate, and they use the money for what it is meant for, I think
for what it's meant for.
For what it is meant for, we won't be in this level now. But those people who have access, who have perverted the system, who have cornered the system, are the people who are buying the dollars and stashing it abroad. That is the problem we have in Nigeria. And like he said, nobody should be powerful or bigger than the state. Look at what is happening to Trump in America now. Yes, people say we should not compare ourselves, but we are competing in the same world. They say we are operating in a global village, global economic village. So the government should be more powerful than the people. Nobody can be powerful than the state.
How rich you are.
So I think the government, the central bank, and the governing authority should wield the big stick, and whoever is responsible for sabotaging Nigeria's economy. Because when you sabotage Nigerian economy, you are against the Nigerian state. They should deal with them rather than just making proclamation.
Other things we have in place.
I have Yunus from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Yunus. All right, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm just trying to contribute to the issue of the Forex volatility.
All right, go ahead.
The reality is beyond the issue of speculators. When most of the construction firms in Nigeria today are non-Nigerian companies, most of the construction companies in Nigeria today are non-Nigeria companies. When they pay them, these people will still look for dollars to take their money out. So until we try to patronize our people, until we try to make use of Nigerians professionals, we can't people foreigners come to this country, take a big contract, you pay them in Naira, they have to take their money out. So it's not only the speculators. I think the government itself has to look inward and try to patronize Nigerian companies. Thank you.
Thank you, Yunus. The biggest factor is, importation of fuel. You can imagine the number of Nigerians that will consume fuel, use fuel, and that major product is what everybody wants to have access to. So it will put pressure on the dollars when the marketers are looking for money to bring in fuel. And we're not refining, we're not producing what we're using again in terms of premium motor spirits.
Again, this is man-made. Again, this is man, just as he said. He mentioned foreigners coming to the country. I mean, having companies and all that. See, it's what they see on ground. I don't know. I don't know how to put this adage. The rat in the house. gives the one coming into the house, the topography of the, if they come in here and they see that the system is watertight, there are certain things they can do. There are guidelines and strict ones for that matter, that this and this is what you do here. But in Nigerian system, there are some loopholes that we need to plug. When they come here and they notice that this is how it's operated, most of course, they know nothing about the country. It's what you tell them because they have indigenous people working with them. Don't worry, don't worry, I'll show you the way. That is majority of our problem, apart from the Forex or whatever, is man-made. Majority of our problem is by us. And it's fueled by corruption. Corruption again, once we tackle it, we get this thing done. It's not hard to do. That's just the way you sit in a chair and maybe as a minister, a permanent secretary comes, you know nothing about the system because you've not worked in that ministry. But as a new minister, the PS comes and tells you, okay, no, we see that money, this is how we share it. What do? You remember Adenike Grange, former Minister of Health? You know what happened? And then I think Obasanjo's daughter was in the Senate then as a Senate committee chairman on health. And he saw that scandal then. He said, this is how we do it here. And say, okay, if you must do it, from the gateman to everybody. She knows nothing about it. So we need to look at these things holistically and tackle it. It's simple when it comes to Forex. These are man-made. Our problem in this country, as I said again, once you have the political will to tackle it, send some people to jail and you see, and be mean about it.
All right.
Don't look at faces.
We have Gabriel from Delta State. Thank you for joining us, Gabriel.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Hello?
Go ahead, Gabriel.
I hope you can hear me very well.
I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, Gabriel.
Thank you for Gabriel.
Okay. So, we're talking about importation of fuel and hope for a refinery. Dangote refinery is coming up. Buhari refinery in Rivers.
Well, I think the most interesting aspect is the decision of the NNPC. They have not denied it, though, that the management of the Port Harcourt refinery is going to be consigned to the private sector. That is better to prevent the civil servants from this. They will damage it all over again and we'll be back to square one. Yeah. Let us repair all the 4 refineries, including the one in Kaduna has not refined anything in the last 20 years. Let us package them, refine them, put them in the best position and contract it out and share the particular. You see that those things will function.
It will function.
So it is when we do that, combined with the Dangote and I learned that the federal government is also issuing new licenses. New foreign investors are interested in refining fuel in Nigeria. Mind you, Nigeria's gas reserve is much more than oil. So to every refinery that we have in Nigeria, we should also refine liquefied natural gas to boost our incomes. Because except until we do this, Dangote refinery was established for business.
Strictly business.
And government has no business in business. So all the refineries we have in Nigeria, we should put them into private hands and run them as a business.
I see things change.
And things will change. Things will change. We should not feel that because Dangote refinery is coming, the price will come.
They're not going to give us free fuel, of course.
The refinery was built with money, and the man is a businessman. So let us there be competitor. We should not. And another thing with Nigeria is that we should not create monopoly in any sector of the Nigerian economy. We have made some people billionaires because the government created
monopoly to thrive,
turned them into a monopoly. And I think Nigeria is a country of free market economy. So people should be free to do their business without let or hindrance. It is then that the Nigerian people can have the value for the money they are paying. If I am paying 500 naira for a liter of fuel, let me know that it is worth it. And government should develop infrastructure like Lagos State is doing. I want to see many states building rail line. Besides Lagos, I want to see River State building 2 rail lines or 4. I want to see Kano State doing the same thing. I want to see Oyo State doing the same thing. It will survive. So when we do all these things, we remove a lot of people from public transportation. A lot of people are riding cars that are not supposed to be riding cars. It's not as if somebody is preaching about poverty.
You have effective transportation
when you
system.
have effective public transportation system, nobody have to jump into the car.
When
go out now, you will see that There's practically no difference that the price of fuel. You ask yourself, have they actually increased the price of 600 naira? It is. So let us use this opportunity to develop our public transportation system. Like Lagos State has for now, rail, road, water, transport.
Lagos is always in the lead.
The airport will soon come on stream. So let us do this thing so that we can actually, for us to expect that we'll start buying fuel at 100 naira.
It's not possible again.
I don't think it is possible.
Free market economy.
Because we are a subject of the international market.
Do you think the president would, by floating the dollars, as in what he announced, and do you think the purpose has not been defeated? That before we had the gap of the official price used to be 400 and something, and the one at the black market was 700 and something. Now I can't even distinguish the official from the one in the parallel market. But the parallel market is saying 1,300 as at yesterday, and a lot of Nigerians are panicking.
I'm sure the president himself is perplexed. Like, what's going on? He's part of us, and he can't be everywhere himself. When things like this happen, I'm sure you pick the phone to call the CBN governor. What's going on? I'm sure, it's not coming the way he envisaged it.
Okay, let's take this call from Gbenga from Offa in Kwara State. Thank you, Gbenga, for joining us. Hello, Gbenga.
Hello.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm just trying to contribute. And in some of the issue on the Emefiele, it is so pathetic that this country, we don't have the law or rules that guide our organization. Because when you have law and regulation that is not active, understand, I think you don't have any rules at all. Because I think we have law in this country. All this is supposed to be done according. Them I cannot just do just a thing and go scot-free. Because the economy has already come already. So even people that are even selling tomato in the market, people are not even skilled labor people. They know how to manage money. Imagine what is that caliber, the different qualifications that you have, and you crumble the economy of the country.
I want to thank you, Gbenga. Thank you for your contribution. Now, the security situation in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, calls for concern. To combat this, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has launched the Special Intervention Squad, SIS. Meanwhile, the Minister of Defense, Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, has expressed concern over persistent payment of ransom by Nigerians, particularly the increasing cases of crowdfunding on social media platforms. The minister said such action will worsen kidnapping in the country. Kidnappers would demand for 20 million, 40 million, 60 million. A lot of people will not be able to, raise it. Well, some will have to sell their properties to, free their children.
But I think in the last 6 months or 1 year or so, nobody has ever seen any kidnapper arrested, tried in the court of law, or been given punitive actions. The thing is that recently the former Minister of Communication, Professor Dr. Patani, came out and said that he was surprised that the security agencies were not actually using the NIN policy to track people. And you ask yourself question, kidnappers make phone calls to the family of kidnapped victims. Why is it that we cannot trace them? If it is the Nigerian security system that have been so compromised, are those people much more powerful than the Nigerian system? So that is the thing. Until Nigerians themselves decide to do something to be patriotic, because this is about patriotism. And we have to know one thing, that those people who are still in the business of kidnapping, they are not small people in Nigeria. They are big people. And probably they have external backing from somewhere, most of the West African states. Because a lot of small arms get across here because of the situation in the West African state, Libya and some other areas. So I think naturally it is not a problem that cannot be solved. You described that in the last 6 months when this government came in, they stopped for some time. Now the thing has recorded again. They took their time to study the security situation and now came in again. Banditry is all over the place. kidnapping has now become an issue, especially with Abuja. So I think our security forces have a challenge on their hand. And this communication thing, how can a kidnapper make a phone call and tell people that do this, and we cannot
and they
get
continue
them.
their phone call.
And they continue their phone call with Nigerian SIM card.
Nobody is tracking it.
So, and we cannot track it. It's a failure of the system. It's a failure of the communication system. Why are we having NIN? Why are we having
BVN and all
linked to their BVN? Why is it that we cannot track it?
What's going on?
That is going on. And secondly, people will convert Naira, they will tell you that it is dollar they want. And Nigerians are always so eager, like the minister said, to raise money, crowdfunding for people that have been kidnapped. Does it mean that those people have much more than the money the kidnappers are asking for? That's what it means. If they're asking for 40 million naira, and within 1 week, you can raise 40 million, then something is amiss somewhere.
Okay, we'll take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more.
It's crazy.
Thank you. Thank you for staying with us. Tony, to stem the tide of this is a thriving industry, and people are paying ransom. People are paying ransom, and people keep paying ransom. And the Minister Badari is discouraging Nigerians that, by all means, but government is not helping out in apprehending these guys, and people will continue to pay ransom because they don't want their loved ones to be killed.
When people pay, it's because of the failure of the system. That's why people will pay ransom. Because the money we're talking about here, they don't have it, and that's why they go on the road on crowdfunding. Coming public.
And it will make the industry.
If it happens to most of these people talking, like the Minister of Defense, I saw him yesterday saying it. And you don't have the resources, and you've held your family member for 2-3 months, how would you feel? You go public. You start begging because at that point, you're not even thinking straight. Because the system failed them. In a system where such things, because we have cases where these things are done discreetly. We have families, members being kidnapped, and the police will tell them, don't worry, just do it your way. Because the police cannot do anything. That's the truth again I'm saying before. I said before. Until you start telling and accept the truth. For instance, it happened under a police division, and you approach the DPO. What do you think the DPO will do? It has happened. In this country, we've seen DPO being kidnapped. There's another one I read today, an Air Force officer in Kaduna with the wife and the son, kidnapped, I think, mid-December 2023. Today, he wrote to the president and the governor of Oyo State, appealing for, friends of the family, wrote to the president and the governor of Oyo State, appealing for funds to pay kidnappers for ransom. If the system failed, this is what the people will do, because we're sitting here, it's not affecting us. If it affects you, you know what. That's why you see, when you see a lot of people coming, they have health challenges and all that. Nobody wants to die. If you have a family member they've kidnapped for months, sorry, you're not hearing. And some people, they kidnap and they still kill them. They pay the ransom, they still kill them. So you don't have a control of what's going on. So you don't blame them. So the issue of federal government coming to say, no, we said, no, do your own first. Take position. Reassure the people. I saw the minister of FCT, I think he went to Buhari area council, and And he was assuring, no, it goes beyond that. Though he assured them that in days to come, they will see action. That's the action people want to see. Let us even see kidnappers arrested. And say, this is the kidnapper that arrested that man. You came to report, and then we go back to the story. So we send them, and they will confess. Don't just bring people, random people. We need to. So when you start doing this, and the rest of them in the forest, so how can you hold? Let's be realistic. How can you hold people from December, November till dates in this same country, and nothing is happening? We have the military, we have the DSS, we have the police. At this age and time,
it's a failure.
And every day we keep being reassured. It's painful.
Reassured of nothing.
I don't need to happen to me, but I can feel the pain. It's not easy. At that point, they are not even thinking straight. They just want to get. And at times, you see these people doing this thing, doing a video of this, flogging their family members. At times, doing even more than that. You know that at times these people are raped. These are issues they don't want to talk about. So who will say this and not go crazy and start looking for how to respond? The only thing the government needs to do is to reassure the people by swinging into action. Look at this boy. They are in Nigerian forest.
Yes, no.
They are in Nigerian forest. Where are these this is the age of technology. Where are the drones? I saw the one the police IG displayed yesterday. I was laughing. I don't know what's going on. With one bigger AK-47. It's too big. It could be shot down. So, at this age and time, we need to do things differently.
For the Federal Capital Territory, it's not looking good.
Oh, God.
The infiltration of these guys.
Well, I think there has to be new ways of doing things. If you keep on doing the same thing in the same old way, we are not likely to get a different result. So the Minister for Federal Capital Territory, in conjunction with the security forces, police, army, DSS, should do something about it. These people are not more powerful than the state. And it is unfortunate that what we have on ground shows that they are powerful than the state. Mm-hmm. The state should be more powerful than them. It's unfortunate that some group of people can be holding Nigeria to ransom. It is unfortunate. I think the president should do something about this thing.
I know the president is going to do something.
He should do something.
I know the president.
So the IG deploying and all the...
No, I don't... that's another, I mean, you don't need it to happen before the IG will do this. You don't need the president directive before the IG will do this. Yeah. What are you there for as IG in the first place? What are you there as Chief of Army Staff, for instance? Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Naval? What are you there? Do you need the president to direct you to do something? I mean, the moment you start sacking for being able to do your job, the moment, you don't need to even give notice.
Yes,
you're sacked. The moment you start doing that, this will sit up.
All right.
That's what Nigeria being killed every day. And then say you're waiting for the president directive, or you want it to happen first.
Okay, just before we go,
just
before we go, let's celebrate one of our own. That the former journalist Segun Ayobolu of his 60th birthday. President Bola Tinubu, who celebrated his former chief press secretary and later special advisor on information and strategy for reaching the milestone. Commend Ayobolu for his unflinching service to the nation and dedication to progressive ideas. Segun Ayobolu is 60. How time flies.
We thank God for his life. We welcome him to the silver age.
To the floor.
And we pray for sound health and divine blessings from God for him to reach, to spend more years in the land of the living. Congratulations, Segun.
A fantastic writer. Was the chief press secretary to President Bola Tinubu when he was the governor of Lagos State. Yeah. Yes, the first chief press secretary.
I wish him
the
very best. You know, one of the best, one of the nation's best media managers, and we can only wish him the best as he climbs the ladder. You know, we all of us, we pray for old age.
Okay, on behalf of the maestro himself, Baba Jide Kolade Otitoju, we say happy birthday to Segun Ayobolu there. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us this Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Usuba. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.